Hey everybody, my name is Joseph Shepard and welcome to Exposed. Now today I am joined by somebody who was introduced to us on season 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race. She showcased her ferocity in Pose. She came back to All Stars 6 and she's now a judge on Drag Race Philippines. It's Jiggly Caliente.
Hi. I was like, ooh, All Stars. Ooh, if you blinked, you're gonna miss me.
We're gonna talk all about that because I think that I was the most excited for you on All Star 6. And then literally that second episode, like my heart broke.
How do you think I felt? When they were like, so this challenge is gonna be the ball. I said, which means sewing. I was like, yeah, going home.
Didn't you go to FIT?
For design. I didn't go to sew. I was just drawing shit. I was like, mm-mm. And it was more for like, and I switched over to like marketing and to managing it, but oh.
Well, you were born and raised in the Philippines until what, age 10?
Yeah, I moved here like after, almost 11. I moved here like 1991.
Do you remember those first like 10 years?
Yeah, I do. It was like, my life in the Philippines wasn't like too difficult, but it was right after the Marcos regime. So it was, the Philippines was trying to build and our family was just having a hard time trying to rebuild because they were not they weren't pro Marcos. So everybody who was still in the country was just trying to rebuild. And the Marcos did such a bad ruling that it screwed the Philippines over. And then my mom moved to the US and was a nurse here and got me and my brother out of the Philippines. And I love the way my mom got me and my brother out of the Philippines too, because it was like some taking kind of shit. And I was like, you better do it, mommy.
Were you under the bed?
No, so my mom realized, so my mom knew what was going on with my dad, with his infidelity and my dad like hitting me and beating me, like being abusive. So my mom told my dad, listen, the school's almost over for the kids. Let me take them to the US for vacation. Let me have them for like a month or two. We'll go to Disney World, all that stuff. And then I'll send for you. You come to the US then after. But let me have my time with the kids by myself. It's been like 3 years since I saw the kids. So let me just have my time with them. Sure enough, as soon as we landed in the US, my mom sent my dad divorce papers. Because the rules are like you can't just take your kids out of the country, or like mainly on a tourist visa or anything like that. So my dad had to sign.
Wow.
So my mom found a way to make my dad sign the papers that make the kids come, and boom, as soon as we landed, sent him divorce papers. And she was like, you can keep everything in the Philippines, the house, the car, keep it. The kids are mine. That was it. And I was like,
props to your mom.
yeah, my mom.
That's ballsy.
My mom was a badass. I was like, that's I think where I get my badass from is my mom, because she always was like that kind of woman.
We need to talk about something badass that you did.
Oh Jesus, what do I do now?
On the internet, there's multiple facts about Jiggly Caliente. You know exactly what fact I'm about to ask you about. In the first grade, she was expelled from school for stabbing a bully through the hand with a pencil. Is this true?
Yes, I was completely expelled.
What happened?
So this kid was just kept fucking with me all day, and he was like, you're fat, chubby, taba, taba, taba. Taba is like basically saying fat. So, and he kept poking at me. And come like, I think 6th period, I had it. I just had it. It was like right after lunch, because at lunch he kept fucking with me too. And I was like, I couldn't eat in peace, so that pissed me off. So I was like, okay. I was like, all right. I raised my hand. I was like, can I please sharpen my pencil? I went to go sharpen my pencil, and he's sitting next to me. So he kept fucking with me. So I took my pencil.
Stop.
Right through the hand. Like, it literally, like, the lead went right through. I thought I was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You couldn't tell me nothing. I said, "Bat." I bet you he doesn't make fun of fat kids no more, though.
I bet not.
Yeah. And then he, like, his family went to my house. They, like, was, like, trying to scream at my dad. And my dad was like, get the fuck away from my house. It was a mess. And, yeah, I had to get kicked out of school. Because it was Catholic school. And they were like, no. I was like, oof. Okay.
Hey, I give you props for doing that. That's a big ass ballsy move.
I'm not super proud of it. I mean, not saying you should like, but if you've had it, you've had it. And I'm one of those people that like, I'm just not gonna let somebody punk me.
Hmm.
And since I was a kid, I was like that. I think also it's because the shit that I was going through at home.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be in school and get shit on too. I was like, no, no. I was like, this is the one place that I feel like I should be safe and okay. Like, so I went after him.
Did you do any more things like that once you came to America?
No. My mom was very clear with me and told me, none of that can happen here. You will go to jail. She was like, this isn't the Philippines where we could just throw money at things. She was like, you will go to jail here. She was like, you will go to juvenile detention or something. She was like, it's not going to be good. Don't do it. She was like, hit them, but don't like, she was like, you can get into a fight, but don't like, use weapons. And I was like, damn it.
Well, you ended up transitioning how long ago?
I was transitioning right before I got on Drag Race.
When you were younger and you came out, because you came out in when, like middle schoolish?
I was like 16, yeah.
High school?
Sophomore year, yeah.
Yeah. So did you know in any of that time frame, like were you feeling that, you were not in the right body? Like what were you feeling? You were feeling already.
I already wasn't feeling right about saying I was gay, but it was the only thing in my mind that I feel like it could connect to. And I was just like, I didn't know how to navigate, considering I also didn't know about trans people when I was young. So I was just like, I didn't know what was going on with me. I knew that it wasn't I wasn't completely like, I don't want to say normal, but like in cis hetero world, like, that's considered normal. So that's what I thought. I was like, I know I'm not that. And then when I said I was gay, I was like, well, this doesn't feel right either. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And it was just so confusing. And it wasn't till like, navigating through life after that, I was like, oh, this feels right. And like when I would put on like just playing around in the house or whatever, like I would like pretend that the towel was a wig or something, or my hair. That felt normal. And then when I started doing drag, it felt good putting it all on. I dreaded taking it off. So it was like something was like, something wasn't adding up. And then through being in nightlife, I realized, oh, maybe I'm trans. So that's how I found out.
So it took a while.
It took a while, but it was always inside that I knew that it wasn't. I couldn't pinpoint it because I didn't know what was out there or what I could be.
Yeah.
So I just knew. I was like, I feel like I'm a girl,
Mm-hmm.
but I like boys. But I'm in this body. This is weird. It doesn't add up. So I was just like, this is frustrating.
Well, as like time has gone on and you've like, come into your own, do you start seeing yourself more and more the way that you want to every day?
Yeah, mainly when I started fully transitioning, like medically.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. And I see myself, even now, even without makeup, I still see myself as who I am because now I know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not whatever anyone else's perception is. It's for me, it's who I truly am inside anyway. So yeah, now it's more apparent than ever before.
Yeah. I just like I can't imagine, like I came out to my family when I was 21, 22. I was a later.
Yeah.
So dealing with that on the inside, my family is very conservative and stuff, and dealing with that like weight on everything, I can't imagine what it was like to
My family is super Catholic, so it was like it was hard to explain. Though my mom accepted me coming out as trans a lot easier than she was able to accept me being gay.
What do you think that was?
I have no idea. I don't ever really want. At this point I can't ask her, but it felt better that I was able. It was easier for her to accept. Also because when I was a kid, my mom went to this place in the Philippines called Quiapo, and they told her she was gonna have a boy and a girl, but she ended up with two boys. And then later on in life, I'm like, well, technically,
It came true.
They weren't lying.
Yeah. Well, Jiggly, let's get into a little show that you were on called RuPaul's Drag Race. It's season 4. You said it's how many years ago today? 12?
Today, it would be 12 years.
Wow.
Like, we all met today. Like, I met my rich white woman, Willem, Latrice, Sharon, the artist formerly known as Fifi, Dita, everybody. All today. We all met today.
That's insane.
And they shut off the air conditioning on us. Right. It was like there was no air conditioning. We were dying. It was so hot in that room.
Did you apply for any other seasons before that?
No, I technically didn't even apply for.
They came after you?
No. So what happened was, I had never had any plans on auditioning for Drag Race. I was happy being an escort, making my money, because it was a lot of money. I was okay with that. Sahara and Manila, specifically Manila, was like, listen, what is the worst that can happen? You audition, they say no. I go, I'm not doing that. I would rather audition for Bad Girls Club. That I want to audition for. Like Real World, I want to audition for.
Yeah.
I'm not auditioning for a competition where I have to show them what kind of drag queen I am. I was like, no. And the only time you get to showcase how good of a performer you are is if you're in the bottom. So I was like, I have to suck to be able to
show off, yeah.
Like to show off what I can do. And she was like, well, what's the worst that can happen, Jiggly? I was like, no, absolutely not. A month later, like a month later, Manila calls me and she's like, listen, I got a phone call from casting. They're looking specifically for like chubby or big girls that are very sassy. And Manila was like, well, I have the perfect girl for you. She is sassy, she's Asian, but she thinks she's black. I was like, what? I was like, I do not think I'm black. I'm just a New York bitch. So that's what my accent is. I have a New York accent. I don't have, I was like, no. She was just like, well, look, they were interested. So, shit. So Manila basically, applied for me. Because she did the I guess the dragrace.com thing, whatever at the moment. She did that. And then fast forward a week later, they were like, well, we need a tape. We need a tape, something. Give us something. And I was just like, Manila. So I told Manila, I was like, I'm not spending any money on this shit. I didn't want to do this. I'm not doing this. Manila goes, fine, I have a week off. I can do this. And then Sahara got in and on it too. And we were like, oh my God. So we filmed my audition tape. And she even made Manila and me were like, oh, well, let's do it at the Apple Store. Because the Apple Store in New York had that glass.
Yeah, the big glass, yeah.
So I was like, oh, I wanted that X-Men kind of vibe. I was like, let me come out. I was like, fine. And then we did it at the club that we used to work at called The Web. And because it was like a Wednesday night and we filmed all day. All that stuff was there. And my friend Steve helped too. I was just like, y'all are too much. Because I did not want to do it.
Yeah.
I had no interest, no intentions. I was like, first of all, I also am the kind of person that's not for me. I was like, that's not going to happen. I was like, they're not going to want me. They're going to want some girl that is like cookie cutter, wholesome kind of bitch. They're not going to want a rowdy, ruckus bitch like me. So they were like, oh no, boom. And then I was getting all the calls and I said, oh no. But then also I was early in my transition. So I was like, oh, I can't show up looking like this. So I just threw out all my boy clothes. So I literally, all the clothes that are male in the show are all my brother's clothes.
Wow.
Yeah, I borrowed his clothes, all the Yankee stuff, everything. All that was his, and I borrowed it. And he was like, why are you borrowing my clothes? I go, listen, I'm only going to need it for like a month. And I was like, trust me, I'm going to they'll come back to you. And I was just like, he was like, just buy boy clothes. I was like,
I don't spend money.
I'm like, I already gave this shit up. I'm not coming back to this. And yeah, it just ended up, boom, Drag Race.
When you got the phone call, like the actual phone call, do you remember where you were?
Mm-hmm.
Where were you?
I was with a client. I couldn't pick up the phone. I was like, fucking Christ. I was like, this is LA. And I was just like, oh, I can't pick this up. So, and then they were like, listen, we want to like have it on camera. So not on top of that, I'm like, I was like, oh, fuck, I got red lipstick. I look like a only hook, obviously. And I was like, I just finished a client. I was like, oh, fuck. Took a shower, did all that. I was like, boom. And then I got on the Zoom and they were like, so by the way, you got on Drag Race. I was like, that's in the video that you guys saw that.
That's iconic, though. Like, when you think about it, that's pretty iconic.
No, it was stressful. I was like, fuck.
Stressful in the moment.
Yeah, and I called Manila. I said, listen, I got a phone call from LA. She was like, it's probably Drag Race, bitch. She was like, the calls are coming out like this week. I was like, oh. She was like, well, I told her, I was like, well, I have a client coming in like a half hour, an hour. She was like, you better cancel that. She was like, because this is something else. I was like, I told Manila, if they're calling me to tell me that they're not doing, like they're not going to accept me, and they're like, thank you for trying. I told Manila, I was like, you owe me $500. She was like, 500. I was like, yeah, bitch, because this is a 2-hour fucking gig that I'm about to cancel. And she was like, okay, go. And then to this day, Manila's like, yeah, where's that $500 now? Shut up.
So you were talking about your transition. You were talking about it kind of started a little bit before season 4. You know there's multiple rumors.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to clear them up?
Well, for me, I knew that I wasn't comfortable in my transition yet. Okay. And because of like shows like Dirty Sexy Money and how trans people are always perceived as like Jerry Springer, I didn't want to come out on the show and be ridiculed for being who I am. So I was like, let me just play gay and like it's out of sight, out of mind. Like I'm Asian, they're not gonna try to clock me for looking a little too feminine or whatever. So I was just like, and plus I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to show myself to the world. And plus also I had family who didn't all know about me transitioning. Like my mom, obviously she knew before she passed and everything. And my core like biological family knew, but I had family who'd never known about me. So I was just like, I'm not putting that all for the world to see. So I was like, no. And they did ask me, but I always told them I'm not ready to talk about it.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't, I think it's also what they kind of wanted my story to be, but I just wasn't comfortable to talk about it because I didn't feel that I was presenting female enough for people to understand. So I was just like, oh no. I was like, no, I'm not talking about that today. And as much as I don't think also that the world was ready at the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think for me, I think Drag Race wanted the world to get exposed. I mean, look at season 5. They had Monica right away. So it wasn't like it was far-fetched from what they wanted to do because Monica came out right after me. And then Kylie was season 2. So it was like, and Carmen was season 3. So it was like, it wasn't far-fetched. And then if you think about it, after season 4 aired, Kenya, myself, and LaShawn also came out trans. So we're like, it was kind of in the works, but we just didn't
verbally say.
Yeah.
Well, the rumors were that you were not allowed to take hormones.
That's not true. We weren't allowed to take any drugs. But how was I gonna, though I had it on me, I told them it was my insulin. So when they saw it, they saw like the syringe and the virus, I told them that's insulin. I'm diabetic. They never questioned it. Yeah. They didn't even really look at it. First of all, it's none of their business. So they can't be like, what the fuck is this?
Exactly.
You know, as long as it wasn't like a rock in a fucking so they were like, okay, it's insulin. So they were just like, go ahead. They never questioned it, but I was on hormones while I was there. That's probably why I was so fucking emotional too. Like, so I was like, God damn it. Not able to see my doctor, so my hormones are all out of whack. I'm sure that's what it was.
You're on the show, and there's the moment that everybody always says now that became the catchphrase. How tired are you of
May I call you
May I call you
Jiggly?
Jiggly?
So there was a point in 2015 or 16. It was actually no, I know exactly what it was. It was during the fucking drag race cruise.
Okay.
It was I hated the phrase because it was like constant. Like I would open my fucking suite door. May I call you Jiggly? I haven't even had fucking breakfast yet. And the thing is, like, our rooms were like you had to go through our rooms to get to like the food area. So, and all the drag race girls were all in one floor in one strip. So these fans would purposely walk through our thing. And so I'm like, I haven't even had bacon yet. May I call you Jiggly? Fuck. And you know, now that I look back and see that only a chosen few does RuPaul bestow a catchphrase to, I'm like, bitch, I am one of the girls that like, yeah, I'm cool. Thank you. I love you. And it has honestly made a career for myself. It's a catchphrase that all the fandom knows me by. And even to this day, RuPaul every now and then says it. It's not just to me. She says it to other girls. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, and RuPaul forgets girls' names all the time.
Yeah,
So
that's what I said. And when people are like, huh, does RuPaul know your name? I'm like, hello, she made a catchphrase out of me. She didn't forget me.
she sure did make a
I
catchphrase.
was like, she ain't forget me. I don't know about the rest of them hoes, but I know she remembers me.
And when the catchphrase has your name in it, it's even better.
Hello. Like, baby, like, come on. So I am part of that pantheon of girls. I may have not won, but I won something.
Yeah. So you're comfortable with it now.
Yeah. I actually like, I love it now. And even like when my friends are like, so do we call you Bianca or do we call you Jiggly? I'm like, if you met me as Jiggly and it was a work situation, I don't mind. I'm taking it on as my nickname.
Mhm.
It's not I don't find it offensive. It's
Yeah.
like, if anything, it's a cute term of endearment. It's cute. I like it.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, we'll get back to Drag Race. I just want to ask you while you said that, how did you come up with Bianca for your name?
So that's my original name that was gonna be anyway. So when my mom, it's in my baby book.
Uh-huh.
My mom and my aunts were so into these fucking romance novels. And I think in the Philippines they're called Precious Hearts romances or something, whatever. And the bad girl, her name was Bianca, and the good girl, her name was Veronica. So my mom and my aunts were like, well, if she's supposed to be a girl, so we're gonna name her Bianca. It was gonna be Bianca Marie Arabejo. That was gonna be the name. But then, surprise, that's not what happened. So my mom was like, well, what's the name of the bad guy? Paolo. That's what we're gonna name. So that's how it happened. But Bianca is the original name I would have had. And my brother is named after the good guy. So, or the good girl. He would have been named either Veronica if he was a boy, or, I mean, a girl, or Giancarlo, which is the good boy in the book. And then actually come to think of it, like, Veronica is my name on Pose. So I was like, well, I mean, that's how destiny works. I'm telling you that is just how destiny works for me. And I'm a firm believer if things are meant for me, are meant for me. So somehow, some way, things are just going to land correctly.
Well, on Drag Race, you had pretty iconic moments.
Oh,
Your
God.
dress.
Oh, the baked potato, which they still owe me a golden boot for. I was the OG golden boot. I know Lala was I'm like, no, bitch. I was like, oh, I was so mad when Lala came because I was like, bitch, that's the one thing I had on Drag Race. I don't care. It was so bad. It was iconic, okay? It was like, come on. I had one thing on Drag Race, and then she had to take it with those fucking paper bag dresses. It's like, damn.
She took it away from you.
Took it. And she got the golden boot too. I was like, come on, that should have been me.
And it was the moment. It was the moment of the time. I'm also surprised that you can embrace it. Because you know, some girls can't embrace the things that it took Monica a while to embrace.
Not a silken cloth.
Not a silken cloth. She was so mad, and I was like, girl, you gotta take this moment.
The thing is, like, for me, I always look at things like half empty, half full. Like, it still happened. I did that. It wasn't like Somebody forced me to do that. I created that piece of shit. So I had no excuse. And again, you can't control people's perceptions. Yes, it wasn't good. Like my original idea, it was supposed to look like I had the red dress.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, that's what I think was coming out. What came out wasn't that. But it is what it is. And again, like even like I think it was a Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy's the one who told me. She was like, "Bitch, you better come up with a good story for that, because that, good luck." I was like, "You fucker! I just met you. Like, you can't be this honest with me." And yeah, and then I was like, I had to come up with like an excuse. And then I was like, RuPaul was like, Michelle. So RuPaul was kind of buying into it, like she was almost into it. And then Michelle goes, "No, but this, and you're wearing sneakers." I said, who the fuck is gonna wear heels in apocalypse? If I gotta run and hide somewhere, you think I'm gonna be in a heel? She was like, "But this is drag race." I go, "I don't give a shit." I was like, "I'm still a New York bitch, so no. You're lucky I have my Timberlands on." And RuPaul and them were dying. So ever since then, I think that's probably why they like me.
Yeah.
Because my mouth is just reckless. And she was just like,
I also love that you like snap back, and I wish that we could have seen that.
of course they're not gonna show that. But I didn't snap back. I was like, it was like me playfully just trying to explain it, trying to I'm like, look, just buy the bullshit I'm trying to sell you. And like I said, RuPaul was this close. It looked like she was this close. And then Michelle just had to run her mouth. I said, "You bitch."
You were on a very iconic season because out of season 4, that's where all the
Shark Week season.
What does that mean?
Because we all had bad teeth. Bitch. Everybody in the season had bad teeth. We all had bad, except for Willem and Chad. Everybody else had horrible teeth.
Well, you got yours fixed.
I sure did. Paid for it in cash too. Thank you, Bianca.
You were on a season that I would say had the most controversy that the queens have talked about because you had Miss Willem. Willem is not afraid to say whatever is on her mind about the season. I've had Willem come on, I've had Latrice come on, and they've all talked about
the rules that we all broke.
And the rules you all broke and going
and when I say all, we all broke rules.
Yes.
A lot of us broke rules. And I give Willem a lot of credit and I give her a lot of props because she didn't rat none of us out. She could have easily ratted us out, but she didn't. And I give her a lot of respect because, you know, like, bitch, if it was in the streets, we would have beat her ass. But she didn't. And I was like, even that, like, I feel like, and that possibly could have kept her on the show if she would have said, "I'm not the only one breaking rules." But she didn't. Like, she knew I had a cell phone. She knew that I snuck out. So, because Willem was literally my next door roommate.
Uh-huh.
And I knew when the guy or the girl that was staying in the hotel with us would come around and check. Mm-hmm. It was around 3:30 in the morning, they would come and check. So there was one night I decided to go out because I knew Sahara was going to be at Mickey's. Went over and said hi, came back. And at the time, there was no Uber, so I had to wait for a taxi right outside of Mickey's because it was almost 2:30, and I was like, fuck. I was like, I'm going to be so screwed. Like, if I'm not in my room when he checks, I'm fucked. So I was like, shit. I made it, though. But Willem knew because Willem was coming up, I think, the elevator at the same time I was. Everyone goes, "Where were you?" I go, "None of your business, bitch." Get out of my way. I just ran to my room. So yeah, it was one of those. Yeah, that's how I love Willem so much because I give her so much respect because she didn't rat us out. Mainly me. She could have easily ratted me out because she knew I had a phone. She was like, "I know you're talking to somebody, Jiggly." I was like, "I'm talking to myself." And I was like, "Why are you listening through the fucking wall, you weirdo?" And she was just like, "No, I know you were talking to somebody named Manila." And I go, "Ooh." And I said, "Oh, bitch." And this was at breakfast. And I was like, "Shut your ass up, bitch." And she would always try to ask for my phone. And I go, "I don't have a phone." I was like, "Damn it." I'm glad she never ratted me out.
That's so iconic because when I had Dita on, Dita felt like she was like breaking the biggest tea, but she was like so like quiet and like mousy about it. And she's like, I went once to the drugstore with Willem. And I was like,
Yeah,
that
because
was what your
the
big-
CVS was around the corner. And there was the one that Sharon would go to is across the street, the gas station. So if you know if it's the 4 Points in Culver City,
Mhm.
so there's I don't know if it's still there, but like there was a gas station right in front of our hotel, and Sharon would go over there, buy herself a PB&R or whatever the fuck that beer was, and her cigarettes. Yeah. And then she would bring cigarettes back to like whoever the girls that were smoking. She would sell them back to the girls. She would sell them like Lucy's.
So this was like bottom of the barrel Drag Race. Now I feel like it's like buttoned up to where none of this could ever happen.
Oh no, not now. Hell no. When I went back to All Stars, I remember somebody said, "Oh, we gotta check you." To me, they were like, "We heard about you," and I was like, "Fuck." They wanted everything, made sure there was nothing. I was like, "Damn it." They're like, "Jiggly, where's your phone?" I go, "Here." They're like, "This is the real phone?" I go, "Yes." They're like, "For real, open it." I was like,
Damn.
"Yeah." They made sure of me. I was like, "Fuck."
What was the craziest thing or something that happened behind the scenes during season 4 that was like not shown? That was insanity.
Oh, I don't want Chad to kill me. So there was there was one of the PAs who didn't know our names, and they were just that girl. I remember it was like they called one of us that girl. I think it was Latrice. Was it Latrice or Dita? Chad was so over it because she felt it was so disrespectful. She was like, "You should know our names. This is episode whatever," and Chad went off. She was like, "We're not fucking animals. We're human. Know our names." She was like, it was, yeah. Chad went off. And in a way, it was like good because they needed to know who we are. It wasn't like, I get if it was episode 1, maybe episode 2, you don't know our names, but come on.
Because I also heard that you guys had pictures on things. Like they had pictures of you guys, so they knew.
Well,
was it?
now that I'm on Drag Race Philippines, there's when we're at the judges table, we have our paper that has the girls' pictures and the note, like when we could write notes and stuff like that. So when we can have to judge them, that's what it is. It's not necessarily like, oh, because we're changing our looks, our outfits, or whatever. So you can't exactly be like, well, which one is this one again?
Yeah.
So at least they know that, oh, the one coming to the next one
yes.
coming is this one. So that was what it was. It's not, now that I'm on the panel, like it helps, but it also helps to know who is like who the girls are. Like mainly like if you're like the PA and stuff, like you should know the girls. Like it's already stressful as is. Like it's okay if the judges or the special judge doesn't know who the girl is, but like come on, you work with us. We've been here like a couple weeks now. You should know our name or a couple days at least. Yeah. Because it's not that many girls. I mean, we were like 13 at the time. No. By that episode, it was, I think there was like 9 or 10 of us. 9, I think. So yeah.
So they had a reason.
You had a couple. Like you at least had 2 weeks with us already. That you should know our names. Yeah, it was bad. But Chad went off, baby.
Ooh. I want to know from you. You had, after you get off of Drag Race, what was the experience like for you? Did you see like an uptick in your career? Like what was it like? Because season 4 was around the time that Drag Race started becoming more popular.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily like the hidden gem that you would find on TV. What was your experience like afterwards?
So it was also the age of Instagram was just starting. Twitter became a big deal, and Facebook was still, a thing. And we were like getting all this massive amount of attention. And the attention I was getting wasn't exactly all great because it was a lot of like picking at things about me. Oh, I'm so big, this and a third. Why do I suck when the Filipino girl before me was so amazing? And then my teeth were so horrible, blah, 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 blah. It was so many negative things coming at me all at once. And I was just like, oh, I wasn't ready for that. That I wasn't ready for. Even Manila kind of jokingly says that she misses the Jiggly before Drag Race because the Jiggly before Drag Race, nobody could say anything to. Like my confidence, I was like super confident before Drag Race. And after Drag Race, it just kind of like magnified all my insecurities. And because other people are seeing my insecurities, they're able to pick at it before I can defend myself or protect myself. So it was that's one thing I like, even when Manila says it, I miss that old Jiggly. And I was like, I yes and no, it's good that I've evolved and changed because it I kind of needed, you know, knock down a peg. Ego was a little too crazy. But yeah, that's one part of it that I was like, ugh, that I wasn't ready for it. But it doesn't outweigh the good that has come from it because the amounts of love that I do get from the fans are great too. But it's just that it takes that one or two or whatever, however many comments that come at you, and it's like, well, there you go. Sucks to be you.
Comments are the worst.
It does, and you take the good, you take the bad of everything that comes. Like everything comes with a price in life. That's how I've always taught. So this is the price of what I chose to be part of.
Are you okay with this price?
Now, yes. Back then, I wasn't too sure of it. I was like, why did I do this?
Mm-hmm.
If I like, there were nights where I would cry and be like, why did I sign up just so people can like ridicule me? I'm like, it was one thing to be bullied when you were like a kid, but like, I can't stab these people with a pencil. Fuck. Like, I can't protect myself.
I mean, you could, but you have to find their address.
I know. I mean, I would, bitch. I'm not the one. That's why I always tell the fans, I'm like, y'all are real brave on the internet, but if you say that to my face, bitch, it's a whole other, like, I'm getting arrested. I'm just letting you know now. Like, you are going home in a body bag. I'm not playing with you. You got the wrong bitch.
Speaking of body bag, there's a drag queen who has said things about you and what you have said about her. And you asked if I was going to cover this, and I will.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Venus Delight.
Okay.
I had her on my show probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And she said that you were the reason for a lot of hate that came towards her.
And Jiggly shares with Bianca an old escorting ad of me as a guy. I had never did nothing with that ad. And Bianca goes and posts it on Instagram, calling me like, trashy, look at this trash, $600 for an alcohol.
Would you like to speak on this situation?
Okay, so I'm not a malicious bitch, but if you fuck with me or people that I care about, I will come after you. So there was, I think it was my season that she was part of those teeth are ugly, this and a third, and then she also made a comment about Manila. Now, Manila is my dear, dear friend. I love Manila to death. I would not be a part of Drag Race if it was not for Manila. So, and Sahara, 'cause I love those two are like I love them. Like when my chosen family, my core chosen family in drag prior to Drag Race was Manila Luzon, Sahara Davenport, Deja Davenport, and Darlene LaFontaine. Those four people made sure that I was taken care of and I was always protected in our community because I was one like the Asian chubby girl and they just didn't want me to fall into some mess. But they were always protective of me. So in turn, I'm always gonna be super protective of them. So she said some shit, and I'm the kind of bitch that a lot of people like me. A lot of people give me information, mainly in like, outside of Drag Race. So people forwarded information for me, and I shared it with Bianca. And then Bianca put it out there. And Bianca was like, I could put your name on it. I go, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Because I'm the kind of girl, like, if I said it, I said it. I'll tell you I said it.
Then what'd you say?
Yeah. I was like, oh, she used to be an escort. I was like, stop trying to act like you're this clean kind of person. You're so famous. You're so this. I'm like, if you're a rude girl, shouldn't you be making money off of rude girl money now? So why do you have to revert back to this? Most of us who stop escorting to become rude girls, like, baby, that math ain't mathing. Come on, like, and so, and I also saw that there was like something that somebody told me that, um, like you can't be an asshole. You can't blame your life situation to why you're an asshole
Yeah.
to other people. So if you wanted to be a bitch, the thing is, like, as rude girls, well, guess what, baby? You said something about me, you said something about my friend, and I put something out about you. It's just fair. Now, how people bully you or whatever, like, that has nothing to do with me. But you wanted to fuck with me, I will fuck with you back. Don't come crying because you came to a fight with a knife and I came out with a shotgun. That, as fucked up as that sounds, I'm the kind of girl, like, don't play with me because I'm gonna hurt your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Once I let you assault me, I was like, oh, okay, my turn.
Do you feel like she had any validation in her feelings because maybe she didn't want that to come out?
Yes, but at the same time, like for me, I think that's why would you live life in regret and why would you be ashamed of something you've done? Mainly if it's something to survive. I have no shame in my past. I needed to do it because I needed to survive. I'm not ashamed of it. I am not ashamed of anything I have done because it is what led me to here. Not only that, these are the life choices I made to survive. Keyword to survive. It wasn't like out of vanity or anything like that. It was to survive. And I'm like, I remember like, I'm like, you're an escort too. I'm like, duh. I'm like, why? I'm like, and like, because I remember there was honestly the reason why I came out about being an escort was there was, I guess it was a former client or whatever, sent a message to my management, to my team, and they said that they were going to try to expose me of my past. And I was like, okay. And the only thing I was worried about was my family finding out before I got to tell them. So that's what I ended up having to do was having that uncomfortable, awkward conversation of telling my core family, like my biological family, this is what I had to do after my mom passed. So that part was difficult. But do I regret it? No. Because like I had to go through that. I had to go through all that. And then even my team was like, we should just ignore it. I go, yeah, we're going to ignore it because I'm going to come out before they say something. So I remember getting on Hey Queen, and then that's when I told the truth because I was like, this. I'm not going to let somebody dictate
Yes.
and take power away from me, from my truth, because you're not going to spin the story around how you want to. I'm going to tell it the way it's supposed to be said because this is the truth of it. And yeah, you're not gonna shame me for sucking dick for money. Fuck you, I made money. These lips, baby, they made me some coin before Drag Race. It's not just for lip syncing. And mind you, my teeth were really bad back then too. So could you imagine now that they're amazing? I would charge. No, I'm gonna shut up.
Well, before you got on to All Star 6, you had some great things happen. You had Pose happen. You had Broad City happen. You started dibbling and dabbling in the TV world.
Yeah, thanks to Willem. She was like, because I remember like there were things that were coming up that if I were interested to audition, and I was just scared because I sucked on Drag Race as an actress, and I was like, oh, I don't think that's for me. And I remember having a conversation with Willem, and she was just like, what does it hurt to audition? She was like, obviously they're asking for you to audition because they want to see you. They think you're perfect for it. She was like, you just got to prove to them that you are perfect for it. And I was just like, I don't know. I was like, I'm not going to let another, like, whatever his name was to tell me that I'm not that good. And I was like, oh, I'm good. And then Broad City.
Who told you you were not that good?
What was his name? Was it the guy who created Will and Grace? Max Mitchum, whatever.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, him. And he was like relentless with me. And I was like, oh, I fucking hate this. And it wasn't even a character that I liked. I remember I got stuck with that Charlotte-like character. I was so over it because I wanted the role that Willem got, Samantha. And I was like, oh, you bitch. And she wouldn't give in because obviously she's the group leader. She wasn't giving that up. It would take like, it would be like she'd have to be dead for me to take it from her. She was like, no. So I got stuck with that role. And she was like, you could do it, Jiggly. And I'm like, you bitch. So, I just think I was gonna be good enough to do acting. And then Broad City messaged my team and they asked if they could see me. And I said, okay, sure, why not? Let's do the thing. And that was my first, that's how I booked my first appearance on Broad City.
And that was right after you got your teeth done.
Literally
day before.
Day after. Like the day before was my surgery. The day after I was filming. I was so swollen. Like you could see my face was just like, it was so, but hey, it was worth it. My teeth were cute. So it was like, oh shit. But they were so nice. I remember Alana was just like, you're so like a natural for this. And I go, huh? What the fuck are you talking about? And I was just like, sure, thank you. And then also because like the treatment was so nice. I had a trailer, everything. I was like, oh, bitch, this is the life. Mind you, I had that one ass line and I had a trailer. So I said, oh, this is how they're treating me? Oh, yeah, baby, I'm doing this. So, and then I did Yale. I did a play at Yale University. And that's what really like kicked it in for me. Like, oh, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And that's also where I first met Angelica Ross because she was speaking and with Jen, and they were doing a special speaking engagement at Yale University. Then that night was my the second night of my play. It was called Death something. Oh my God, I forgot it right now. But that's when she was like, "Oh, you should be acting."
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "You're great, Jiggly." She was like, "You should do this. This is your calling." She was like, "Drag Race was great, but girl, sis, this is your calling." And she was like, and I told her, I was like, "Well, hopefully we'll work one day." Boom, boom, boom.
How did Pose happen?
Pose. Okay, so Pose is a funny story because they didn't even want to see me originally.
Really?
Because I was auditioning as Jiggly. They didn't want drag, they wanted trans people. So I told my manager, and I was like, let's change the name to my name. I was like, I don't want them, so I auditioned as Bianca Castro. That's when they saw that I was like Filipina and this and a third, so they were like, let's see her. Boom. It wasn't until I made it to the callback, and they were like, oh. And I was like, yes, I'm trans. They were like, oh, we never knew that. I go, because I didn't feel
Yeah.
the need to, like, that's not my life. It's like my personal life is my personal life. I like Jiggly, the whole world can have that information. But Bianca, for me at the time, I felt like should be mine and my personal. Like only my core, like important people in my life should know about that. No. I had to come out as trans, and I was like, fuck, all right, here. But yeah, that's how it happened. And that's how I got the role as Veronica. And originally, it was only a one guest spot situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then they liked me, they liked a few, like the other girls, and they were like, wait, then they were like, well, they got the storyline to create a house. So they were like, let's create an all-female house. And that's when Leomi, myself, and Leomi was already what do you call this? A choreographer on the show.
Oh, really?
So, and consultant on the show. So by then they were just like, well, let's add them. And then Aphrodite, Alexia got into. So we were like, okay, so now we're the house of Ferocity.
That's so cool.
That was cool. And they liked us. We were professional. They liked the way we were, we were on set. When they needed us and they wanted us to be quiet, we were quiet. We didn't bring our phones on set. So we were like, no, it was in our purses. They should have never gave us purses in that show because we were like just hiding everything in those purses. Like we had our phones, candy, food, but it was so much fun. Like the green room and where we're all hanging out when like it was a cut. It is so much fun because we're just like literally hanging out, talking, there's music playing. It's fun. Mainly the makeup room, the makeup and hair trailer is the most fun because it's always at the same time. It's Haley, myself, India, and Leo me in the chair, while Dominique and MJ would be getting their hair done. So yeah, that's how it always is. It's always the girls. We're always all at the same time. It's so much fun.
Do you want to do more in the future? Are you looking at more acting things?
I would love to. Yeah, there's something in the works down the line. I just don't know how it will go because of the strike. But as far as I know, it's a go, and we're just waiting for things to
evolve. Yeah. You then get on to RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star 6.
Yeah, if you blinked, you would have missed me. Shit.
I was very excited that you came back. I was very, very excited to see you again on my TV screen. You left too soon, I will say. I would like to know, how did that come to be? Were you ever asked to do an All-Stars before that, or was that your first time?
I was asked if I was interested, but it was always like, well, I'm already doing Pose. I couldn't, because at the time, Pose was filming at the same time All-Stars would be filming. So I couldn't be like, and I couldn't tell them why why I'm not interested. I just told them I had something going on and I can't. So like the third time came and it was like, well, shit, it's like the pandemic. I'm like, we don't know the future of Pose. I said, maybe I should say yes. I was like, I have money saved up, let's go. And, thankfully I have really amazing friends too that, shelled some coin. Thank you, Alaska, Bianca, Katya, Manila. So I was like, they all helped out. And I was like, they were like, you're going to go, you're going to win, you're going to make it to the end. And then Manila gets to become a lip sync assassin. She goes, where the fuck were you? I go, I already got sent home. Even Bianca, that was also the same season, Bianca was like, where were you? I go, I got sent home. She goes, sewing. I go, yeah. They all knew to us. And they said sewing was in the challenge, wasn't it? I go, yeah. That's what got me.
I mean, your outfit was
It was a lot better.
It was a lot less.
A lot less. But I was like, fuck. And I was just like, this is gonna do. But hey, look, I'm not ashamed of it. It is what it is. But I will say, when the promo came for All Stars, that is where I saw the immense amount of love and support, not just from the American and Western fan base, but just the Filipino fan base. And I didn't ever realize that a sleeve would make such an impact.
Your butterfly sleeve, right?
Yeah, and the only reason why I did that was I didn't get to wear my Filipino dress for the finale because I already got sent home and we didn't get to do the runway. And I was like, I need to do something that says Philippines. So I was like, I told my designer, I was like, Angel, we have to put something Filipino. We have to make this happen. He goes, sure. And boom. And then when that promo came, everybody was talking about the glow up. And I was like, oh Lord. I was like, this has been happening for a while now. Where y'all been? Y'all haven't been paying attention to me. And then boom, that's when it happened. And people started paying attention. And people then realized, oh shit, she's on Pose. And so that came. And I'm happy for that. I'm very grateful. I never take any of this for granted. Because as easy as it comes, it's as easy as it goes. Yes. So I'm just grateful for everything that has happened because of it. And yeah. And then a couple months after that, hey, you interested in judging Philippines?
How did you get that call? Like when? Where were you?
So the first call was, would you be interested in being part of it? Mm-hmm. I literally told them, look, I'll be down to be the janitor. I don't give a shit. Whatever. I'll do whatever y'all want to be a part of it. By anything. I don't care. As small, as big, I don't care. And then a couple weeks later, they were like, well, you're in. You're the judges panel. I was like, that's it? Oh, okay.
You were asked in another interview, do you think that you should have been the host? And you said no. Absolutely not. I do not have the heart to say sashay away.
No, I don't.
Do you still feel the same way?
Yes, I do not want that responsibility. I think it is gut-wrenching. every time I watch it for other girls, I cry and I feel bad. I don't ever want to be the girl that says, "No, you can go home." I don't want that. No. I like the role that I have, and I feel like I have become a bigger sister to all the girls of the franchise now that there's season 2. I'm like, I like that if they need help or questions or anything like that, I'm there for them. And I don't have to feel that responsibility of I can't get too close because I'm the host.
Yeah.
At least as a judge, I can get close, but not close, not too close either, but enough where I can help them with like their future or what's next for them. So, because I've kind of done it. Like I've had an album, I've done acting, I've done TV, I've done, you know,
So you're back for season 2.
yes.
You are judging. I want to know what the difference is in being a contestant in the US to judging. Like, is there a big difference that you see?
Yes, it is a huge difference. The power. It is, but I've also been. I feel like I've been very careful. I don't think I ever have said anything on the last 2 seasons where it was malicious or just vindictive or for television's sake. I say things. I want to make sure that the girls get the criticism that they deserve, but I'm not ever going to say something that's going to be malicious or hurtful to them because I know what it's like to be in their shoes where you feel like you're under the firing range and they're just like shooting down all your ideas because your drag is your baby. So you're literally letting people judge your baby, and I'm not going to be the kind of person that your baby's ugly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. Like it's just like, like I can't do that. I think I've been very critical, but I am also like I don't want to hurt their feelings. Yeah, I think I've been good with that. Even though like the girls make fun of what you did, what needed to be done. However, that doesn't compliment you in any way. But that's not a malicious or bad thing. It's just that, a compliment and then pah.
When it comes down to who gets eliminated, do you have any say so?
Mm-hmm. There's a panel of us, and it's like XYZ and thing, but we can get vetoed. That is a part that's fun. We're like, oh, okay, but yeah, usually it's just us. So
Do you normally side with everybody else, or do you feel like sometimes
there
you're...
was one contestant that I didn't side with everybody else with, and at that moment, I just felt like she had more to give than the other girl, and I was just like, Minty should stay. I think I think she has a little bit more fight, and nobody agreed with me, and I was like, shit, fine, y'all.
So you would say that you're having a great time judging.
It's a good time, yes. Great, not necessarily, because it's hard to watch people like break when their dreams are like, that part does suck. I really, mainly when it's different when you're feeling it, and it's different when you're watching it on television, but when you're actually there and seeing somebody, like there's one contestant in this season, and I felt like she didn't realize that this is the end. This is the last chance to fight was during the lip sync, and it literally shows on her face. And I felt like the defeat was already hitting her. It hit her then, and I felt so bad. I felt horrible to watch her. It sucks sometimes because mainly when you're a contestant and you land in the bottom, it sucks. Mainly when you think you're doing really good and you think you did it right, and you're like, oh no, it sucks. It has to hurt, and I want people to realize, like, again, these are people who are putting their art on the line. A lot of these contestants have literally given everything up to be there, sacrificed so much to be there. Not just in the Philippines, not just in like the US, but all of the girls from all the franchises, they sacrifice so much to put themselves in this situation. So when you're like digging into these girls, like think about the humanity of the fact that those are human beings that decided to take a chance and follow their dream. How would you feel if you tried to follow your dream and somebody decided to just take a hot shit on you? Like, it's not fun. It's one thing to be critical, but like, don't be a dick. Like, come on. Like, yeah, it's so weird sometimes seeing the fans just go ape shit. I'm like, who made you a professional? Like, you're not even a drag queen. I feel some type of way when I see non-drag queens trying to judge drag queens. I'm just like, baby, you wouldn't survive in this gig. Like, this isn't easy. It's uncomfortable. Ugh, yeah. Bitch. I had to perform the other day when a fucking blister popped, like, right in the middle of me performing. And I'm like, and I felt it. And I go, fuck. And I'm like, shit, keep going. And as soon as I got back, I'm like, kill me now. Just chop off the foot. Just chop it off.
Well, you're speaking about fans, so it's time for fan questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Can you ask her about her Instagram controversy? What would go through her mind to encourage her to make fun of a local performer who is from the Philippines who is just doing what she needs to do to make money?
Oh, shit. Okay. I know exactly what this is. This is Taylor Sheesh. And my the girls in the Philippines all know about her. And then when they saw that tweet, my Instagram, they were like, what are you doing? I go, first of all, I was like, initial reaction, I didn't think the girl was Filipino because the original post was from a Latin publication, and I just reshared it. And I was like, oh no, what is this? Not knowing that the girl is it's a parody of a Taylor Swift performance. So I didn't know the context of it. Just blurting out my stupidity, just being shady. I didn't even think that the person was Filipino. Then one of the queens was like, how do you not realize that that's the Philippines? I go, because every mall looks the same. I'm like, I've been in a mall all over the world. They all look the fucking same. I'm like, there's a Bath and Body, Starbucks everywhere. There's everything in the same store. And they're like, bitch, wrong move. And then I did apologize to the girl. I personally apologized to her. And my apology is to her because she's the one who I sent them, like, I made fun of. Yeah. Not anybody else in the Philippines. I wasn't making fun of Philippine drag. It was just this one girl, and I apologized to her. I reached out to her personally, and I even did a public apology because I did a public post. I'm not the kind of bitch that I do say I'm an unapologetic bitch, but when you hurt somebody's feelings or you hurt somebody, even if it's by accident, you can apologize. That doesn't mean you're still unapologetic. I'm an unapologetic person because I'm not going to apologize for who I am. But if I hurt somebody, it doesn't take less of me to apologize because I hurt somebody's feelings. True. So I apologized to Taylor, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, please, I'm so sorry. I did not know. I did not know all this. And I just was like, I'm really, really sorry. She accepted it, but other people still want to hold on to it. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, as long as the girl who I hurt was like okay with it after, we're good. Now if she gets on Drag Race season 3, fuck. We're like, shit.
Were you really given a letter telling you that you had to get your things ready to leave the hotel before you were eliminated in season 4?
Okay, so what happened there was a letter that slipped under my door the day I was eliminated that said I was checking out that day. Come to find out, I think other girls got it too. And we were like, no! And I was just like, I guess I'm going home, no matter what. That's why if you watch Untucked, I bring it up. I'm like, none of you motherfuckers got the letter. And I brought it up. I was like, shut the fuck. Like, don't tell me that I'm quitting. I was like, I'm not. It's literally said I'm checking out today. And obviously they can't use that. It is what it is. But yeah, watch Untucked season 4.
Looking back, would you have actually shot ping pong balls out of your ass to stay in the competition?
Yes, I would do anything to stay. Like, fuck. No, but I really wish was like they would have given me a Lil' Kim song instead of that fucking Pamela song.
What jobs did you work before Drag Race?
I was escort, main one. I worked at a movie theater, and I worked at TGI Fridays for a week.
A week?
Yeah.
Why?
I got fired.
For what?
I cursed out a customer.
What'd they do?
They were just being too much. And I was like, look. And then when they came back with the tip, I was like, and I did everything. Like, I was really nice. I did everything that they wanted. And they left me a fucking $2.36 tip. I was like,
You remember that exact amount?
Day. Like, that's why I will never, ever work at a fast food store. And when now that I go to ever since then too, like, I go to restaurants, I make sure, like, if the service is good, I make sure I tip them well. I'm not like, because I know that it's not easy. They're on their feet, they're standing all day, whatever. Like, it sucks. Like, you smell like fucking food that you don't even really want to eat. No. So, yeah, to this day, I'm like, And what else did I was, in high school, I was after school art teacher. And I worked for a medical billing office every summer in high school.
You were a jack of all trades.
I had to, because my mom was like, look, you want to go shopping? I can't support your shopping habits.
You got to do it yourself.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. So, my mom also, it also helped teach me the value of money and how, like, what I work for and everything like that. So, yeah.
I would love to know, what is the biggest misconception of Jiggly?
The biggest misconception is, like, I'm a bitch just like to be a bitch. And not the case. It's mostly for, like, protection. I don't know if you ever saw this movie called Dolores Claiborne. And there's a line there that Vera says, and sometimes you have to be a high-riding bitch to survive in this world. And that's pretty much really what I live by. It's like, not to be a bitch to other people, but I have to be assertive. I have to be strong and stand my ground in everything that I believe in, because I'm not going to let anybody step over me or, like, take advantage of me.
I love that.
Like, I'm a bitch with a purpose. Don't play with me.
And my last question for you is, what's coming down the pipeline? What's up next for you?
Hopefully this writers and actors strike ends so that the projects that I'm working on finally, like, can go.
Yes.
And next year, 2024, is going to be my 20th anniversary in the industry. So hopefully I get to do a fun thing. I kind of want to do a celebrity roast with my sisters.
That would be good.
And because, the friends that I do have in this business are really the ones they're going to be the ones that are going to not hold back. And I'm the kind of bitch that I could take it. So bring it on. Like, because also my mouth is reckless, because as soon as they're done, I get my chance to say whatever I got to say.
That's true. You get the little last word.
Yeah. So yeah, that's down the line for me. I hope that the strike is over, but we have to fight for our rights, because that's crazy. Like, not when the people who are in the ups are making millions and billions of dollars.
Crazy.
Over the lowest person. And that's unfair, because it's not just the actors that are getting hurt really by this, but, like, the people who are, like, the stand-ins, the people that are doing background work. They're the ones who are, like, it's fucked up, like, to think of, if you do background work for one day, they'll scan you and then use AI for the rest of it. Like, that's fucked up. I mean, cost effective if you're a billionaire, but still, it's fucked up. Like, these are people's lives that you're messing with. It's not cool. Mainly now that it's even with streaming, I think that's really, like, crazy, because I don't think it's part of residuals.
Yeah, it's not.
So then, and I hope I don't get in trouble with World of Wonder for this. Like, maybe we should get residuals too for being reality stars, because, like, we're on these streaming services. Like, come on, like, how many messages I get daily talking about, I just started watching season 4, and I'm like, because also I get the good and the bad of that. Like, I just started watching season 4. Your dress was shit. I'm like, damn.
Well, Jiggly, thank you so much for being here and chatting with me. Where can everybody find you on the socials?
The only thing left now is I have Instagram and Threads, apparently.
And it's what?
At Jiggly Caliente Official.
All right. Well, until next time, I'm Joseph Shepard. That's the beautiful Jiggly Caliente. We'll see you next time. This has been Exposed.